December 1st, 2020. It is probably 11:30 a.m. Universal Time, and I'm Super Fizz. I am here with a bunch of fantastic people, a bunch of friends that I've gotten to know over the past few years. We are here to view and celebrate the genesis of the Ethereum 2 beacon chain mainnet. So this call will last about an hour and 15 minutes. It will be broken into two segments. For the first 30 minutes, we'll get comfortable, we'll get to know everyone, and we'll learn why we're here. And then for the following 45 minutes, beginning at the top of the hour, we'll watch the genesis of the beacon chain. We'll look at the metrics that tell us how successful the chain is, and we'll just sort of talk about where we're going from here. Before I get to introducing everyone, I have just a couple of things to mention. If you're watching at Genesis and it seems like something isn't working out, you're probably going to see some people drop offline to go and fix that. It's okay. We sort of expect that there will be minor corrections and client updates the first 24 hours. So if you're running a client at home, we need you to be very vigilant to install those updates as quickly as you can. I represent the ethstaker community along with my ethstaker friends. I'd like to introduce Nolan, as you know, as Lamboshi Nakagini.
Hello.
Also Patricio Werthalter.
Good morning.
Who represents the POAP community. We'll be talking about POAP a lot during this call. Maybe not a lot, enough. Buddha.
Hi, guys.
Who works with Bitfly, or what you know as Beacon Chain, and Michael Geeson, who you know as Envetica. So we are delighted to have you all here. We're so excited to have our guests today. I know a lot of people will be interested in claiming a participation POAP, and we'll get to that in just a few minutes. But I'd like to introduce a few of our guests. We have the client teams represented here. We have Nimbus, and from Nimbus we have Mammy. Would you like to tell us a little bit about Nimbus and kind of what improvements Nimbus has made over the past few weeks that make it a launch-ready client?
Hi, so I'm Mammy from the Nimbus client, which is a client written in a very little-known language called Nim. The past improvements that we did is mostly, as many nodes, we have been focusing on resource-restricted devices, and we improved a lot on memory management, and we also improved sync speed. We still have work to do there, but we hope to be a go-to client for Raspberry Pi.
That's awesome, and that is exciting to hear because that really fills a niche in the community. There are a lot of stakers who want to stake on low-powered hardware, and they've tried some of the heavier clients on Raspberry Pis, and we've just felt like they haven't really made a good match. But we're looking forward to increasing the support of Nimbus, the market share of Nimbus, so that we have great client diversity. And so if you're interested in staking on a Raspberry Pi, definitely check out Nimbus. We also have the awesome Teku team here, Ben and Adrian. Would you guys like to say hello?
Hey, everybody. Good to be here.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, thanks for having us.
And so these are super humble guys who aren't going to say a whole lot about themselves, but they are such powerful leaders in the community, really helpful, good fellas. I appreciate so much that you all joined us, and even more than that, I appreciate what you do to support everyone in the community. So thank you both for being here. We also have the Sigma Prime team. Good to see you guys. And they developed the Lighthouse client. So, Paul Outer, do you want to say hello?
Yeah, hello everyone. Let's see what 2.5 years of research, engineering, and testing look like.
Awesome. We're about to see some rubber hitting the road in a minute. And finally, I'd like to introduce Terrence from the Prismatic team. Terrence, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, hey everyone. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. I also have Nishang and Raul here with me here as well. So yeah, super duper excited to be here.
Great, awesome. And so what we just went over were the 4 launch clients for the Beacon chain. These are 4 pieces of software that have been in development for in heavy development for the last year, but in research and development for the past couple of years. And if you're not terribly familiar with those clients, they are Nimbus, Lighthouse, Teku, and Prism. And one of the things that we're encouraging as the ethstaker community is that we don't become tribalistic and choose one client and always stick with that client. What we're looking for the user base to do is to realize that we are all Ethereum stakers and we can support all of the clients and thrive as a community when all of the clients are thriving. So thank you all for coming today. We have a couple other people who I'd like to say hello to. Alfred, how are you this morning?
Good. It's already noon, so yeah, I'm really stoked.
Great.
How are you?
I'm very well. This is just, it's a really exciting opportunity. I see Peter from Bitfly. Good morning, Peter.
Hello, good morning.
I see Xiao Wei. Xiao Wei is one of our researchers.
Hello, everyone.
And Carl, hello, how are you?
Hey everyone, doing very well, very excited.
I see, I'm looking for, okay, I see Joseph Chow, and Joseph is great because he wrote one of the most interesting introductions to the Beacon chain. And why don't we hop into that? Joseph, can you tell us a little bit about the Beacon chain introduction that you wrote?
Sure. Yeah, I was looking for something on the Beacon chain that didn't get too deep, but explained a little bit more than just the terminology. So I see it as a way to help people, especially if you're running a validator now, and maybe all is I'm just running this piece of software and I don't really know what else it's doing. Then maybe the article can help. Thanks.
Great. And what's the easiest way to find that article?
I was able to get a short domain, ethos.dev/beacon-chain.
Great. And so if you're kind of new to Ethereum, if you're new to the Beacon chain, I would definitely suggest that you begin by reading Joseph's article. I'd like to suggest some resources that you might be interested in to learn more about Ethereum. The first one of those resources is reddit.com/r/ethstaker. If you look at the sticky on the top of that page, you're going to find a whole lot of resources, including Joseph's article. And as we get into talking about these things, we're going to talk about POAP more. POAP is a proof of attendance protocol. So you see Patricio, our friend, is wearing a pin that represents POAP. POAPs are sort of participation badges that you earn for doing something, and they've become a bit of an obsession of mine. And so essentially, by being a validator on the Genesis network, you'll earn a POAP. But that sort of leads into referencing Joseph's article. The first thing what is it? Say the title for me, please.
I think, yeah, the Ethereum 2 Beacon Chain Explorer you should read first.
Yes, the one you should read first. The reason I bring that up is it is a part of our Study Master program. The Ethereum Study Master program is an academic study that is targeted at kind of the high school, college level, so that you can learn more about Ethereum and be a more prepared validator. That program has recently gone live. Anvetica, Michael, can you tell us a little bit more about not just Study Master, but also POAP, and then kind of lead into how POAP plays into this call today?
Absolutely. So the Study Master program was initiated, or was an initiative rather, that was started through the ethstaker community. And it was initially a 10-week course where we would go through using articles like we just described before each week, and picking through the services and breaking down exactly what is Ethereum 2.0 Serenity. So it would break down the consensus mechanism, what is a validator, how does a validator get into a committee, all those things on the technical side we would break down. And after each week you'd have a quiz, and if you had a 70% or higher after those 10 weeks, you would then earn your Ethereum Study Master POAP, basically claiming that, one, you know what you know through this course, and then two, that you actually did complete it. You can prove it for matter of fact that you went from week 1 to week 10. And, like you were saying before, POAPs are incredibly valuable that way, because we can prove for matter of fact that these things happened. And we have a POAP today. If we want to go into that, anyone that is watching the YouTube live stream, you can join us at the ethstaker Discord server at invite.gg/ethstaker. And there you'll find a room called POAP. And in that room, there is a pinned message with specific instructions on how to interact with our POAP bot. And you'll receive for viewing today the Ethereum Serenity official POAP. So it's incredibly exciting.
Thank you so much, Michael. And we will make sure that everyone who's viewing on YouTube or is participating in the Zoom call gets that POAP. Vitalik, I know that you're used to coming into calls cold and kind of answering on the fly. So welcome today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I assume, have you been up long? Are you excited about this?
I mean, I'm in Asia, so this is actually the close to the end of a pretty normal day. So that's been fairly lucky, but definitely very excited the whole way through.
Sure. So I know that the spec for phase 0 has iterated so many times. I know that Danny has iterated ever since the idea of the 1500 ETH deposit contract. Are you happy with where we've evolved to for this launch today?
I think so, and it's definitely gone through a lot of iterations. I was actually just checking out the contract that we had written in Viper back in 2017 a few days ago. It was. I think the changes we've made have generally been for the better, and in some ways it's definitely more challenging because there's more to change, but also like this current the roadmap that we ended up settling on, like it both lets us innovate quicker because we can launch ETH 2 before we have to kind of entrust all of the entire ETH 1 system to it, which I think is a really valuable benefit. And also, in the long run, I think this approach allows us to make some kind of more radical changes to the protocol that I think are necessary, like changing the tree, changing serialization algorithms, introducing kind of sharding. We're going to have to introduce data availability sampling at some point. I think there's a lot of benefits. I'm very happy with BLS and how we've managed to reduce the deposit size down from 1,500 to around 32 ETH. That's been definitely a huge boon for decentralization. Speaking of decentralization, actually, if you go on Twitter and you see the most recent tweet that I published, like literally right before joining this, I published some stats that I just ran with my Python script after I've updated it to pull directly from Etherscan API, so I can run it at any time now. And so it's improving a lot there. So it seems like it's definitely satisfying all of the goals that we've had for for an initial staking system. I mean, it would definitely be nice if if staking was technically simpler, but I think like it's always been kind of inevitable that on day one people are going to be afraid, and I think it'll take a month or two, and people will figure out this is what you need to do. It'll feel like a known quantity, and so people will be much less scared about joining in, and will feel comfortable just doing it on a regular computer without worrying too much about hardware or whatever. So that's just ongoing improvements in kind of ease of use is definitely something that I really care about. And then from here, and it's just a matter of making sure phase 0 runs well and just continuing to improve it and continue to work toward light client support, sharding, and kind of the merge as the three big milestones that we've identified.
Awesome. I'm really glad that you kind of mentioned this difficulty with getting the validator client running right now. And the thing that I've been talking to people about for months is we have just gotten to a point where the implementations work, and we're still solving bugs in those. But if you're an end user at home and you think, oh, this is too hard, what I really want you to look forward to is the next few months where these products will become polished and packaged and so much easier to use. If you're a home staker and you spent hours trying to slog through this and get your validator up, I'm delighted. I'm proud of you. I'm happy you joined us. I'm so proud that the ethstaker community kind of worked together to increase that diversity. And as Vitalik said, things are going to get easier.
And I think, no, you guys have definitely done an amazing job of doing the community side of the work to make staking as accessible as possible. So, keep it up.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate those comments. And I think I'm going to turn it over to Nolan for a moment.
Yeah, so we're about 10 minutes out from launch now. I was wondering if we could flip over to the awesome Beacon Chain dashboard just briefly and have Peter take us through what that is, what we're looking for, what we hope to see, and just explain what we're looking at on that dashboard.
Yeah, sure. So the dashboard shows the progress, or let's say the first 4 epochs of the Beacon Chain. And so what we're looking at is once we reach Genesis, we'll see the first block in the first row should turn green, which means it has been proposed by the validator, the signed validator. And once that happens, it will move to slot 2, slot 3, slot 5 till the epoch is complete. And once epoch 1 starts, the process will repeat in the second row, and so on up to epoch 3. And what we want to see is a high participation rate, which means that all or most of all validators are online and are submitting attestations, and we'll see a participation rate should be above 2/3, which means if the participation rate is lower than 66.6%, it won't be an optimal solution. We saw that on several of the test nets where some validators had issues, but we don't expect such issues on the mainnet. What you see in the checklist is the progress as the chain progresses. What we want here is, first of all, to have a tick that the first block is proposed, and in epoch 0, that 2/3 of all validators submit an attestation for this epoch. The same should be the case for epoch 1 and epoch 2. And if everything is all right with epoch 3, we should see epoch 1 to finalize and epoch 2 to justify and epoch 3 to justify them later on. And once this is complete and the launch is successful, the interface will switch back to the regular view where you can follow the blocks that have been proposed, the epochs, how many validators voted for each epoch, and so on. So it should be pretty exciting to see. Everything updates automatically, so you don't need to press F5 to update the page. It will update every 15 seconds, and it should allow you to give you a good impression during the Genesis launch.
Thank you. Awesome. And if anybody is looking at that dashboard and they see average balance is 32.01 ETH, and they're wondering why that is, it's because, I mean, last I checked, 4 people out of, I think it was 26,000 deposits ended up making a double deposit. So they sent 64 ETH to their validator instead of 32. And I think that really speaks to the quality of work that the launchpad people did, and making the deposit process very safe. So I just want to compliment them that out of 26,000 people, there was only 4 accidents. Really great job by the launchpad team.
Hey, so I see that our friend Danny Ryan is on, and I don't do this often, but I'd like to give Danny a hand because you really are. You get it because you brought this together. It's not to embarrass you, but the organization and the sensibility that you've brought to this entire project are the thing that have made it possible. And I will speak for myself because I can't speak for anybody else, but I appreciate your attention to detail and everything you've brought to this project.
Well, thank you. I will say though, at this point, this thing's a machine. There's so many incredible people working on it that they got it.
Yeah, and that's one of my favorite things about this morning is it is a machine. So no matter what we do, it's gonna happen. That's
right. I hopped on a call with somebody like 30 minutes ago, and they're like, "What are you doing? Shouldn't you be doing stuff?" And I said, "There's nothing I can do. It's out of my hands. It's out of our hands."
So we are just a few minutes before launch, and I think before you hopped in, we talked about the Beacon Chain dashboard. Do you want to give us an idea what kind of things we're looking for on that dashboard as far as participation, blocks being proposed, and what we'll be watching for after the Genesis?
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think we ran through some of the key metrics there. I don't know exactly what was said, but really we're watching for an early block. We want to see a block at slot 1. There's no block at slot 0, except for the Genesis block. It's not proposed by anybody, but we start seeing attestations come in immediately at that 0th slot. And then we really want to see a block at slot 1 ideally, but really in the first 2-3 slots from there. If we don't, then that's a signal that something's maybe not going well. Then we want to see like a good solid number of blocks through the first epoch, that 0th epoch, 32 slots. At which point near the end of it, we'll start to have a good handle on whether we have that 2/3 majority or not. Really, each epoch, like the core kind of health metric is, are 2/3 of the validators online and agreeing on things. So at the end of the 0th epoch, we should see firmly over that 2/3 number. And then similarly at epoch 1, we want to see the same thing, plenty of blocks and lots of good participation. The 0th and the first epoch are kind of like warm-up epochs. We can't really get into the core proof of stake like finality machinery. But once we get to epoch 2, this is the first epoch that can become justified. So at the end of epoch 2, and each epoch is 6.4 minutes, but at the end of epoch 2, we can have justified epoch 2. We can also justify epoch 1. So sometimes there's a weird scenario where like we justify epoch 1, we didn't justify epoch 2. But if we see a justification there, we're starting to be in pretty good shape, which again relies on that 2/3 really agreeing on things. And then at the end of epoch 3, which we're now 25.6 minutes in or so, we would see ideally we can see actually this, and I should have corrected this. We can see epoch 2 in the ideal finalized, and this is a little bit of a mistake on the Beacon Chain Explorer. We can see ideally epoch 2, sometimes epoch 1 in a strange scenario, finalized, and epoch 3 justified. So really, by the end of epoch 3, by the end of about a half hour into this thing, we should know kind of is the core machinery working, are the various clients, are the validators online, are the various clients in agreement? And hopefully yes. And if not, we will be scrambling to better understand the network, which we've gotten much better at doing, and figure out what's going on and make it work. So
awesome. Thank you for that great explanation. And obviously we'll be looking for your insights through Genesis. And we had kind of an interesting development this morning on the ethstaker Discord. The first block proposer will be index 19026. And we believe that we identified that person. We're pretty confident about it as a user named Mr. Fahrenheit. And so we've been in kind of a tizzy this morning. So Mr. Fahrenheit, I hope you get your Wi-Fi stable. I hope you are calm and relaxed. And best wishes to you. In about, what's our time? In just a few seconds, we'll be looking for this first proposal.
Well, again, at the 0th slot, we have the Genesis block, and we'll see some attestations start coming in at the first slot. So 12 seconds after Genesis, we should see that first user proposed block. One minute.
Anybody else feeling tingly? Been waiting years and years for this. My loins are aflame for Genesis block. Let's go, E2.
This is terrifying. There's a lot of people on this call saying, "Oh, it all just happens. There's nothing we can do. If it all goes wrong, I'm going to panic and I'm going to be very busy."
If it goes wrong,
people on this call that'll be in the same boat.
I remember in July 2018 when Eth 2 phase 0 was 70% complete.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
So we're
Confirm.
It's like that Windows loading icon.
We're at slot 0, right?
Yeah, so we also added the lighthouse beacon node on the stream, so if the dashboard doesn't work for some reason, we have some kind of backup.
Man, 3,500 people almost on the live stream. Welcome everybody to.
We got a block.
Hey, everyone.
At the station. We got them.
Yay! The network is
nice.
And so we've transitioned from the place where we've been waiting to Genesis to where Genesis is initiated. And now we watch carefully for about 32 slots. That is 32 times 6 seconds, 32 times 12 seconds to see what kind of progress we're making on participation. Congratulations to Peter and Bitfly that the dashboard looks like it's working really well.
Nice. Fahrenheit also left a
Thank
graffiti.
you very much.
Yeah. Mr. F was here.
A lot of thought.
Okay, we haven't missed a block yet,
Mr. F.
right?
No, that's nice.
Well, there's $16,000 on the line, right?
It's a little bit different than 32 Gorley ETH.
So for anyone who doesn't know, we've been through 10 test nets, and because people didn't have money at stake, it was difficult to get good participation. But now that we're live on the mainnet, at least so far, it looks like maybe had one missed proposal. Things are looking really good thus far. So everyone's really excited.
I should also mention that if the blocks don't appear on the dashboard, it's because we're exporting the data first. So there is a little bit of delay.
So we're 13.58% of the way through the epoch, according to Beacon Chain, and I'm seeing 13.58% of attestations.
That's what we want to see.
Wow.
My validator has attested, so go me.
think we took down Alex Stokes's fork monitor.
Yeah. What's that? Is that running on like a potato? Let me see.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, one missed block. One missed block. Slot 5.
I think we're also in slot 7.
One of the things that we kind of know is we made a really big push to invite home stakers. And many of us are not professionals. Many of us did this because we want to participate in the network. But that also increases the likelihood that we're going to be offline, or our Wi-Fi isn't working, or maybe we didn't import keys correctly. So what I want to tell you is, if you're one of these people who feels like you're having trouble, please reach out to ethstaker in the next few hours and let us help you get online. We have a help desk full of staff who are ready to support you. Don't panic. You're not messing anything up. You're not losing anything, but we would like to support you and get you online today. So
yeah, even if you're offline for a few hours or even a day, like it's not, you're not going to lose a ton of money. But we can help get you there.
Whatever you do, don't start the second client with the same validators.
Yes.
Don't start your backup.
Thank you. Yes. There are not many ways to go wrong in staking. There are two basic things that a home user can get wrong, or the any user can get wrong. And the first one is just to be offline. If you turn your validator off, you're going to leak. But you can actually perform a network exit. And in a few days, you'll be exited from the network and you won't leak anymore. I'll be glad to talk to you about that if you want to come over to reddit.com/r/ethstaker. The other way, it's kind of a severe thing. If you run your validator keys in 2 locations, so let's say you run your validator keys at your home and then you wanted a backup in the cloud. If you have your validator keys running in 2 places, even if you're just trying to be redundant, it will lead to a slashable condition. You will lose a little bit of ether, and you will also be forcefully ejected from the network. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to ask us. But the simple thing is just don't run your validator keys on 2 different machines at the same time.
Participation is looking really good right now.
Yeah, we're going to make it.
Great work to
I
the
don't want to predict
entire
anything.
Ethereum community. I'm proud of you all.
55%.
Yes. And so if you're watching, the thing we're looking for here, I'm not seeing YouTube stream, but can I assume that we're seeing the beacon chain status monitor there?
Yeah, likely.
Yeah. Okay. So what we're looking for is this red bar to climb beyond 66%. We really want to see it in this, at least in the 70 or 75% range.
63.
63.
Right
we're
now.
there now. Yeah. We're getting there. And so, who wants to tell me what happens when we complete a block over 66%? Ben, will you tell me what happens when we complete a block over 66%?
Yeah, sure. So we've got, that means enough votes have come in that the network will decide that this checkpoint, this block at this point, will never be reverted. It's set in stone for the life of the beacon chain. And the history, all the history before that point is agreed between all the nodes. So we call that finalization. So there are 2 stages. First, it's justified. And then ideally 1 epoch, 6 minutes later, it is finalized and then it's set in stone. And one of the properties of the network is that you cannot finalize 2 blocks at the same height without slashing at least 1/3 of the validators. So it's a very powerful economic signal that the chain is working as intended and is reliable. And I think it's good enough. I'm going to open the champers.
So
All right.
we are wrapping up Epoch 0 with what looks like an 82% participation rate. This is the first of several signs that we're looking for. We'll be watching several epochs, but based on this, we can say that the genesis of the beacon chain is successful. Finalized 82.27%. So I hesitate to clap, but damn, it's a good day.
Yeah, I have 85% correct attestations.
Awesome.
Hey, my mom just texted me and said she's very proud of all of you boys and lady. So congratulations, mom's stamp of approval. Well done.
I also want to say we were discussing amongst ourselves before about what the participation rate would be for Epoch 0, and SuperFizz correctly guessed 82%. I said 85. What did Buddha say? Buddha said 87.
Yeah, I said 87.
Kank.
How in the hell did I guess 82%? And that was...
You nailed it, bud.
Yeah, it's scripted. You know it. You knew it.
We'll be spending some time, ideally we want to see up in the upper 90s. So we'll spend some time today trying to figure out if this is just people that are offline or if there's any kind of client tuning and optimizations we can do to get that into a better number.
And again, thank you, Danny. That is really the reason that the ethstaker community exists. I call myself the Beacon Chain Community Health Consultant. So I'm looking for people who are having trouble getting their proposals out, or people who are having trouble getting their validators running. And while I don't support everyone myself, I do have a fantastic team that I work with, and lots and lots of volunteers who pitch in to help everyone get the network healthy. So the two best places to find us are our Discord. That's invite.gg/ethstaker, or on our Reddit, reddit.com/r/ethstaker. You can also hit us on Twitter at twitter.com/ethstaker. Really, all you have to do is say, I need help, or please help me. My favorite ones are the ones that say urgent, need help, because then I drop everything and find people to help you. So please don't be afraid to do that. We have a lot of resources, and what we want to do is help to get that network participation up above 90% today.
Yeah, SuperFizz, when you did your video talking about being the health consultant, that was so aptly put. Good, that was the right approach. You were talking about kind of the hierarchy of a hospital, and you were describing Vitalik, Danny's role, and so on and so forth. But then when you said the community health correspondent or whatever, that was the consultant thing was exactly right, because you've done a bang up job delegating and finding people in your toolbox to help others figure this whole thing out. So well done.
Thank you. And it's funny because I compared myself to a nurse in that video. And when you think about it, a nurse or nurses are some of the most valuable people in the hospital. They are the people who make sure things get done. And that is really what the ethstaker community is trying to do with users. And so we just want to welcome you in and take care of you. Things are looking great in Epoch 1, even better than Epoch 0. So we're doing well. I'm so proud that everyone's hard work is paying off.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, you need an ETH1 node to be a block proposer. So maybe those people haven't synced their ETH1 node yet. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the ETH2 clients.
It's not, for most clients, it's not actually required yet to be connected to ETH1 to propose blocks. At some point in the next 8 hours, or maybe a little longer, the chain will agree on a new ETH1 block. At that point, after that, you need to be connected to an ETH1 node to propose a block. But until that point, as long as you know the Genesis data, you don't need to be connected to a node. So there is time yet for people who want to get synced up. You've got 8 hours or so. If you're having trouble syncing up your ETH1 nodes, and don't panic just yet.
So just to put it in layman terms, this is now the time to start your nodes.
Thank you. Yes. Turn it on.
There's a question on YouTube. What is an epoch? I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't know, what these terms are. So what's the basic explanation of what an epoch is?
Hey, Dankred, I'm glad you're here. And I've loved your tweets. I wondered if you wouldn't mind explaining to everyone what an epoch is.
Sure. Yeah, thanks. The epoch is basically 32 blocks in Eth 2, and the reason that we have epochs is that to make certain decisions, you want like to make them based on a number of epochs, and in one epoch, everyone gets a chance to attest. And the idea is that this is a long enough time span that you can be pretty sure that there will be at least one honest proposer and at least hopefully one block as well. And so you can be certain that everyone can get a chance to get the attestations in. And then after each epoch, you basically make a decision, have enough validators attested to this to justify an epoch or to finalize the previous epoch as well.
Awesome, thank you so much. There are two time, well, there are actually more, but there are two time measurements that really matter in Ethereum 2, and they are slots and epochs. A slot is every 12 seconds, and as Dr. had said, 32 slots go together to make one epoch, which is 6.4 minutes. And as we're watching this progress, we're waiting for epochs to pass so that we have good certainty that the network is healthy. And we just finished the first epoch. The second epoch, which is epoch 1, with 85% participation. Does someone want to explain, and I know we've talked about it, but we've moved from 82% to 85%. If everything is the same, why do we have that variation? Hey, Adrian, I know that you get these things and you explain very well. Why that fluctuation if nothing has changed?
I don't know exactly. So I think a part of it is that if you miss an attestation in the first epoch, you can actually pick it up. Your attestation in the second one is kind of inherits backwards through the chain because you're pointing to the head of a chain. So when you vote on epoch 2, you're effectively also voting on the prior epoch. So it picks up some extra votes along the way. And the other aspect of it that will be happening is that some attestations might not get included as quickly as they could be. And so some attestations from epoch 1 actually wind up included in blocks later in epoch 2. And so they still count and still valid. You get slightly lower rewards. In fact, you get much lower rewards. They're halved but after one block and it kind of drops off logarithmically. You still get paid. They're still really useful for the network though. And that's part of why you'll see the participation rate kind of tick up a little bit in the epoch 2 after it kind of first ends. You don't have a finalized number yet.
Thank you so much. So something that I've been so excited about the call that I have not talked about how to claim our POAP. And so I think now is an absolutely perfect time because we have great network health and we have just a few moments. Well, really, we intend to leave the call running probably another 15 or 20 minutes, but I do want to make sure everyone can claim their viewing POAP because that is, in the future, that will be one of the most important things ever. I'm going to just kind of set it up a little bit, and then I'm going to let Michael, who you know is Envetica, take over with the specifics. But POAP is the proof of attendance protocol. You can receive an ERC 721 badge for participating in Ethereum, or actually for participating in any event. We use it primarily for the beacon chain as ETHstaker. And we're so glad to have the founder of POAP, Patricio Werthalter, on our team. And I'd like for you to claim your POAP. If you're not sure what it is, if you're still a little hazy about it, we'd like to give you some more information. You can find us at our Reddit, and we can help you get up to speed. But right now, Michael, will you talk to us about how we can claim that POAP?
Yeah, so for those of you that are already familiar with POAP and are watching on the YouTube channel, what you can do to claim is go over to the ETHstaker Discord at invite.gg/ETHstaker. There is a POAP channel. You'll go under that. And then under the POAP channel is a sticky where you can have there's step-by-step instructions on how to interact with the POAP bot. You'll need the call code claim word, and today's code word is
Serenity now! Serenity now!
Serenity now. with an exclamation point. So you'll interact with the bot with that phrase, and you'll be automatically distributed a Serenity launch POAP.
And so I'm there now. One of the difficulties I'm having is finding that Serenity bot, and I see a lot of people sending a message publicly. How can I find that Serenity bot to send it a private message? I'm sorry, how can I find the POAP bot?
Right. So in that sticky on the POAP channel is the direct name that you'll have to or directly message the POAP bot. Use that at POAP bot, directly message that person, that bot, and with the Serenity Now exclamation point, and you'll receive a claim code. But it is important. Superviz did make a good point. You won't get anything. It won't trigger an event. If you put that code in the channel, you have to directly message the POAP bot for that to work.
And what I'm seeing now are people using the @ and posting that publicly rather than in a private message. And I generally use a right-click link to get a private message. If you right-click on any of those, you can hit message, and then you're in a private. So a lot of people are doing Serenity Now, but if you right-click on that, it gives you the opportunity to message privately, and that's how you can claim it.
Okay.
I along with many people, are sending that publicly, and I actually just finally got it correct. So don't worry if it takes a moment. You do need to claim it during this call in order to receive it. I can promise you it's worth the couple of minutes it takes to figure out how to get it. But let me go over that again. If you go to invite.gg/ethstaker, if you look on the left in our channels, you're going to see the channel called #POAP. I just saw, let me get to the right. #.POAP. You'll go in there and you'll see a lot of people are messaging the POAP bot publicly. Just hover over that and right click and hit message. And then in that message, you're just going to write Serenity space now exclamation mark and enter. The bot will respond with that link, and then you can follow that link and
Announcement. We justified Epoch 2.
Beacon Chain and our we are justified. Finalized
Yeah, we justified
on
Epoch
2.
2.
Tell us what that means.
So in Epoch 0 and Epoch 1, we don't actually run the finality calculations due to kind of an idiosyncrasy at the beginning. So the first time that the state transition is actually running justification calculations is at the end of Epoch 2. And so Epoch 2 has been justified. And at the end of now, if we justify at the end of Epoch 3, we're going to finalize Epoch 2. And that's our key launch success metric. And so we're 5.5 minutes from knowing if this was a successful launch.
What are your indications? Do you think that it might be a successful launch?
It looks extremely likely at this point.
So exciting.
Don't jinx us.
I know, right? Well, someone popped champagne. I think it was Ben that popped champagne, and I had this. Oh no! What if he jinxes us?
The people on the Discord are so trolls. I just put the POAP channel into read only, and they're now messaging me.
So, what's next? Let's and I want to put this to any researcher that wants to open up and tell us. It looks like the Beacon Chain launch is successful, and we know that this does not provide actual scaling. It's just the foundation. What can we look forward to next in the next few months from the Ethereum 2 solution?
Yeah, I can take that. I mean, yeah. So what phase 0 is, what the Beacon Chain is it comes to consensus. It comes to consensus on itself, but it now has the ability to come to consensus on other things, and that's the plan: is to upgrade the system to come to consensus on some more stuff over the next couple of years. Primarily, the two things that we're looking to come to consensus on are Ethereum, what we know and love today. Essentially, that is come to consensus on today by a proof of work algorithm, and that is to be hot swapped for this Beacon Chain proof of stake algorithm. And so we're actively working on prototyping that. I actually hope to see something of a test net actually relatively soon on that merge. And the other thing that we want to come to consensus on is a ton of layer 1 data. And that's what we call through sharding and data availability sampling. And that's also what we're very actively working on prototyping, and what engineering teams likely at the start of the year will begin to shift some of their focus into working on. There are some like other probably minor upgrades that we'll see next year. For example, a minor upgrade that adds light client support, maybe a little bit of like validator accounting reform that makes things a little bit more efficient in the state, and some stuff. So a lot of work to do, but this like sophisticated proof of stake mechanism lays the foundation for the rest of those upgrades.
Hey, so I know that this launch is going to pique a lot of interest from the community. And so let's say that I'm a software developer or an engineer, and I'm watching this, and I kind of like am ready to contribute to the future of Ethereum. How do I get my foot in the door? Where do I go to contribute at a technical level?
So it's all open source. I know that goes without saying, but there's research, there's specifications, there's client teams, there's engineering, there's tools and libraries and things that you can do to enhance the validator experience. There's like every layer of the stack is open and very welcoming to new contributors. So pick something that you're interested in and dig in. We congregate a lot in this like ETH R&D Discord to talk about like everything layer 1. We also chat a bunch on the ETH research forum, and most of the work happens in various GitHub repos. So I recommend just digging in, scratching an itch, and contributing early and often. You know, even if it's just fixing some typos in docs, you'll find that contributing to open source is fun and addictive, and it often kind of spirals from small contributions to large.
Thanks, Danny. If you're not a developer, if you're just someone who wants to help, the ethstaker community is always looking for people who are welcoming first and knowledgeable second. The way that we've grown our community is that emphasis on being welcoming and kind to everyone. So if you're interested, stop by and just begin learning and answering questions and welcoming new people. That is really the way that we build a strong community, and I look forward to having you.
So we're a couple of slots away from the end of Epoch 3, where we can see that kind of key finality metric. And I think it inevitably will happen at this point, based on the activity through this epoch. So we're 2 slots away.
I like that inevitably, because
I suppose something could go wrong, but we're 1 slot away and it all looks good.
the thing that anyone viewing should know is that we could not have dreamed of a more successful launch than what we have right now. We have finalized Epoch 0. We have participation above 80%. And at this moment, the beacon chain is successful now because we just completed Epoch 3 with participation of 87%. So
yeah,
it is
finalized.
Absolutely time to celebrate.
Good work, everyone. Fantastic work, everyone. Yay! Holy shit.
I know, right? Woo! Great job.
We did it. We did it.
Nice.
Wow. Wow.
I know there are a lot of sighs of relief of people who have been stressed and anxious for months and years over this. So congratulations to everyone.
I'm watching the Sigma Prime guys high five all in their office.
Man, those guys are about ready to start wrestling.
Yeah, toast to everybody who has contributed. There have been hundreds, literally, of people who have contributed to this over many years. And just huge shout out to the EF team, Xiaowei, Danny, Proto, Dankrad, Vitalik, and Justin, and yeah, just incredible work, everybody.
When is the next protocol upgrade?
The question should rather be when is the phase 1 testnet?
No. We're going on vacation now.
Reconvene
Ethereum
January
3.
1st.
Yeah. Popping wine, popping champagne. So the beacon chain is successful, and if you were a Genesis validator, that is fantastic. I'm glad that you made it into the genesis of the beacon chain. But if you're watching at home and you're like, I should have gotten in on that, it's not too late. You can still submit a deposit of 32 Ether. You can wait in an activation queue, and you can join this process now. You haven't lost anything. You're not behind. Even if you watch this 5 years from now, assuming the chain is still running fine, you can still submit 32 Ether and become a validator at any point in the future. So this is just the beginning.
Woo.
Yeah.
We can also be, I think, proud that we made it past into Epoch 2. That's when the biggest bugs have been, so it's looking good.
So
that seemed really interesting, but I didn't catch it. Sorry.
Yeah, what was that, Paul?
I was just saying it's good we made it past the end of the second epoch. That's where we've had historically the most bugs. So I was pretty.
Oh, right.
Yeah, this is definitely an indication that all 4 of the launch clients, it's an indication that all 4 of the launch clients are running smoothly, and that our issues are most likely to be validators who aren't online yet. And so that is fantastic. I bet we'll see improved participation as those validators kind of get a grip on things and figure out what's going on to get online.
So we're getting close to wrapping up after this. I think us on the ethstaker team at least will be moving to the ethstaker Discord and doing more of like an open mic type thing there where everybody's free to speak. And I also will note that YouTube has a very lovely feature in which when one live stream ends, it puts you into another. And oftentimes it's a scam. It's not always, but oftentimes it is. You should be cautious of that.
The scammers are now feverishly trying to get their scam posted. So with that, I'd like to thank absolutely everyone for your years of commitment and hard work and dedication to getting this done. This has taken blood, sweat, and tears from so many people. I'm happy to be a part of this. I'm happy that everyone was able to join us today. And I look forward to joining you in the future when we have a network upgrade. But this is it. This is the big milestone. This is the promise to launch the Ethereum beacon chain in 2020. And this promise was upheld, and it's a successful promise. It could not have gone any better. So with that, I look forward to seeing all of you again. And thank you so much for participating.
Yeah, great work, everyone. This is awesome.
Bye, everyone.
So before you cut out the stream, I prepared a speech. Dear guys, you always host these streams. You have like the subreddit and the Discord, and you always thank the ETH2 researchers, and you always thank the client teams and all the contributors. But I would like to take the chance to thank you guys building an incredible community. You know, I've been around in Ethereum for a couple of years. I've been there building the Ethereum community, helping building the Ethereum community in the early years, and I've been moderator on the Ethereum subreddit. I helped building the Ethereum stack exchange. So there was so much happening back in the day, and at some point Ethereum is so big that you cannot follow all kinds of development in the community. But I want to say thank you to ethstaker team because you are putting up really great efforts to help this very specific sub-community and with your Discord and your subreddit and everything you host around it, all the resources you build. It's an incredible work. And before we shut out this stream, I want to say thank you because it's really incredible work and really valuable.
Your support has been greatly appreciated since the very first time you visit us, and you're always welcome. Also, you're welcome to join our after party call on the voice chat on Discord. We are doing this open mic, and we plan it to be the most inclusive it can be. So everyone listening, please join our voice chat on Discord.
Hey, to pony on the shout out to ethstaker, I was just looking on subreddit stats, and ethstaker's comments per subscriber is ranked 392 across all subreddits. So it's a very, very high signal to noise ratio there. So hats off to you guys. eTfinance is a top 1,000 subreddit as well. And so it's just incredible the caliber of people that exist on Ethereum Reddit. And then of course the ethstaker Discord is just busy as can be with activity. So pop on over there. Good job, guys.
Thank you,
Thank you all.
Very much appreciated.
We're so glad to have the support. All right, we can shut it down. Michael, thank you all for your time.
Bye, everyone.
Later.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Are we clear?